Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day today and a wonderful beginning to your summer. Cannot believe it is already summer, but summertime means dress season. Now in my opinion, every season is dress season, but especially the later spring and early summer. So let's just talk about what my idea is for this week's video. So as you can see from the title, I'm going to be making a Hill House inspired dress. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Hill House, they went viral for making this dress called the nap dress, and it's just a smocked bodice dress with tiered layers for the skirt, and that's it. It's very simple, very comfortable to wear. But after they became viral with that dress, they have since made several other styles that are just so cute and unique and still really comfortable to wear, but have really feminine details to them, which I just love. I'm having a really hard time finding dress patterns that inspire me or feel like me. I feel like they're either too simple or just too complicated for my season of life right now. I have a 3.5-year-old running around, and so having dresses that are practical is really important to me, but also long enough and flowy enough. I have a few things on my criteria. So one of the dresses that Hill House released, I believe it was beginning of this year, was a style of dress called the Pippa dress. And I will put a picture or several pictures of the Pippa dress over here. It has this square neckline with these ruffle elastic sleeves and then these long two-tiered skirts, and I love the style so much. True confessions, I actually did order this dress when it came out. I ordered it in a medium and a large, but neither of them fit me very well. The medium was too small, and then the large fit me in the waist, but it was too big in the bust. And so I had just kind of accepted the fact that I probably was not going to be able to wear that dress until this morning. I was looking through my fabric and my pattern stash, trying to get inspired on a dress to make because I have been itching to make a dress. And I found this pattern in my stash, which is McCall's 8034. And I used this pattern for a pattern hack that Lauren Johnson did a couple of years ago, where she elongated the empire waist in the bodice here of this dress and then just added her own skirt to make it into a long dress. So as I was looking at this, I was thinking that neckline is very similar to the Pippa dress. I already have the pattern hacked to hit at my natural waistline instead of an empire waist, and I could just add in 2 elasticated sleeves, just the big rectangle of fabric with the ruffle, and then I could adjust my own tiers for the bottom of the skirt. So that is what we're going to attempt to do. I'm going to try pattern hacking this pattern, which again is not really too much of a pattern hack, and try my hand at making my own version of the Pippa dress. So for the fabric, I am trying to use up whatever I have left. So I have quite a bit of this rose fabric left over. This is the English rose pattern from Rifle Paper Company. I love this pattern and I really wanted to make a special dress with this. So here is my idea. I have this for the main body of the dress, but as you saw in the pictures, they have contrasting fabric in between the tiers. So my thought was, I have this fabric left over. This is a fabric from Joann's that I just love, and I have enough where I could almost use this as the contrasting fabric for the tiers. I feel like the colors coordinate well enough that it could work. It might not though, so this part is very much up in the air if I'm gonna use this or not. I might attempt it, and then if I don't like it, I can just remove it. I also thought about putting ribbons in between, but I don't know if I have any ribbon left over that's going to be thick enough. We will see, but that is my thought, and I'm pretty sure I have enough fabric to make this dress. So that is what we're going to try in today's video. If that sounds fun to you, grab yourself a cup of tea and let's get sewing.
It's night in the city and I'm on my way back home, humming on my favorite ditty, swinging like Natalie Cole.
Just finished cutting out all of the pieces, and I will kind of break down and tell you guys what I did. So these are the only pattern pieces that I used from the pattern that we're using. So this is the bodice front and the bodice side, and all I did was cut off some of the skirt to make this waist length. I did this when I followed Lauren's video, this one and this one. I will link her video down below so you can get more details on how she did the measurements of this. But here's the bodice front, bodice side, the bodice back side, and then the very back, the center back. So there's the bodice pieces. These are going to be my straps. I cut 2 of these. This is 7 inches wide and 18 inches long, so there's 2 of those. This is my first tier, the top tier. And for the measurements on this, I did 33 inches wide and 23 inches long. Again, Lauren in her video kind of tells you how to adjust the tier width to your body. So definitely watch that video. Like I said, I'll link it down below. Then I cut out a bunch of these to use for the contrasting stripe in the center of the top and bottom tier, and then for the bottom of the dress. And I ended up cutting them this way. So my hope is that with the seam, I'll still get it where you can see this part, or maybe even like from here to here. So these are roughly about 5 inches wide, and then I am gonna have to sew some together to get the length that I need. These need to be the width of these 2 pieces, so I can sew on the bottom of these and these 2 pieces, and I'm gonna sew those on before I gather the skirt pieces up. And then this is the bottom tier, and what I ended up doing for this was 44 inches wide, which was the width of my fabric, and then 16 inches long. So these might be a little bit too long, but I'd rather have it longer than shorter. So what we're gonna work on first is the bodice. I actually already put together the front bodice pieces right here. So this is gonna be my lining, and then we'll start working on making the sleeves.
See where the sun might lead. Waking up to a brand new day in between your sheets. Breaking up in the best of ways, and I'm back again on the street. But then out of the blue, a wind starts blowing in ways so new. A world more.
So I just got all of the bodice lining pieces all pinned together. As you can see, I need to trim the length of the side piece there. It is significantly longer, but for this pattern, it's pretty simple to pin all the bodice pieces together. The only thing that is a little tricky is this is rounded at the top of the bodice, so you just want to take your time when you are pinning that. But while I'm at the ironing board, I am going to pin together the skirt pieces. I'm going to pin together the contrasting fabric pieces in hopes that that will work. I'm going to press down the hems of the sleeves, and I will kind of walk you guys through how I'm going to do all of this, but for now I'm just going to focus on pinning. I don't have that much time this afternoon, so I don't know how much we will get done, but I'm going to stop talking so I can keep going and get as much done this afternoon as possible.
There is no place I'd rather be than right here next to you. And I truly love to talk about your lovers, old and new. You never spare me details as you confide in me. I smile and give advice, but cannot tell you how I feel. How easy it would be to fall for you, but that of course is something I won't do. 'Cause we've agreed between you and me, we're nothing more than...
So I have one of my bottom tier pieces here because I decided I probably should attach the contrasting fabric before I do the side seams of these. So I'm gonna try attaching this, and unfortunately this is the only piece that I have that is one continuous piece of fabric. The other ones I had to pin, the other ones I had to kind of piece together. But I'm hoping since these skirt pieces will be gathered, that it won't be so bad and so noticeable. So we're gonna try this and see how it goes, how it looks, and then if I like it, we'll attach the rest of these to the other tier pieces. And if I don't, I'll just take this out. So I think I might just base stitch this, so that way if I do not like it and I need to take all of my seams out, it'll be a lot easier. So I will be right back. I'm gonna go sew this up and we'll see what we think. Okay, here it is. I honestly kind of love it. I feel like I never do pattern mixing like that, but I feel like the colors go. I don't know, you guys. I think we're gonna go for it just to try it for something different. I did say in my last video that I've really been into pattern mixing. So we're gonna try it in our clothes and see what we think. The good thing is this is down lower, so it's not gonna be all over the dress. But I think this is actually kind of fun and something different. And like I said, I feel like the color scheme matches and the vintage floral vibes of the both of them. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I actually really like it. Oh, so I'm gonna attach the rest of these just like I did here. I am gonna need to be a little particular on the length of my pieces here because I am sewing in the middle of the vine. And so obviously it's gonna hit differently depending on the piece. So I will need to watch that. But I think I really like it. I don't know, I think this is gonna be really fun. Oh, I'm so excited. Also, this fabric is just so wrinkly.
Would be to put this friendship to an end. How crazy that would.
Before I start doing this, I once read somewhere to not drink things while you're sewing. And this is why. You guys see what is in my water? Pins. Now I see why. I'm not even gonna set this up here. I'm gonna set it down here so I don't accidentally drink that. So that's never happened to me before. Note to self, make sure I have a place to put my pins so I don't put them in my water cup. But I'm going to serge a bunch of the edges off of my contrasting fabric, and then I will need to unpin all of these, sew them all on, then we'll sew up the side seams, do some gathering stitches, and then we'll start working on the bodice. This is actually going pretty quick, which is very encouraging.
Stupid I would be to still have faith, to never stop believing that one day, when time is right and stars align.
Hello friends, so it is the next day. I have a fresh cup of tea that I'm going to make sure I leave off to the side so I don't put pins in when I'm sewing. And I did end up quickly sewing together the skirt pieces, not together, but I sewed the side seams of them. So this is what the top tier looks like. I'm really happy about the pattern mixing. I have never done this before and I don't know why I haven't. I guess using up what you have makes you get creative. And then this will be the bottom tier. So I need to run 2 rows of gathering stitches along the top of both of these pieces, and then I'll show you guys what I ended up doing with the contrasting fabric. I tried explaining it yesterday, but I don't know if I explained it very well. So what I ended up doing was sewing along the vines here, and that's kind of where I stopped it. So you'll see in this piece, I'll kind of show you what it looks like when it's not. So this is what the piece of fabric looks like. So then when I sew that bottom tier to this top tier, I'm gonna try to make it where my seam will be on this vine. So I just kind of like the look of where that stops better than if I were to stop, like say down here. So gathering stitches. I'm going to attach the two skirt pieces together, and then we will move on to the bodice, and we are getting close to this dress being done. I have a couple of hours to myself this morning. Caleb and Rosie are garage sailing, so I'm really trying to get as much done as I can in as quick of time as possible. So I feel like this video is actually going to be shorter than what I was anticipating, because this dress really isn't very complicated. I say that now, I may eat my words later. But I'm feeling good, so let's get to sewing and get these skirt pieces together, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like all together with this skirt, and then we'll move on to the bodice. Here's my skirt. I don't know if I'm gonna regret putting this all together before attaching this to the bodice, but I really just want to get this together so I can feel like I've accomplished something, so we're gonna do it. So what I want to make sure of is the pieces. I have two front pieces with the contrasting fabric that do not have a seam break in them, so I want to make sure those are facing toward the front. So before I gather these up, I'm gonna make sure those are facing front, and then what I will do is gather up my fabric to match the width of this piece. And then how I am going to pin these on to get to the point where when I fold it over it will be on this line. I'm undecided yet how I'm going to do that, but let's just focus on getting this all gathered up. So I usually don't sew my gathers on the side that is not gathered, but for the purpose of what I'm trying to do, I flipped this all inside out, and I'm going to sew so I can see the vine that I'm trying to sew over. Hopefully it goes okay and my gathering is okay. And I don't think it is going to get rid of a couple of inches of the fabric, but I think that will be okay because we have the added length from the contrasting fabric. So I'm just going to go sew this all together, and then we'll turn it inside out to see how this looks so far and have it all gathered up. Okay, so here is what the skirt looks like with that bottom tier attached. So cute. I will have to say, I think I may have made the skirt a little too long because I'm holding this to where it will be, and she's pretty long, so I'm trying to decide, do I want to cut off some of the fabric on the top and then do gathering stitches again, or I might just finish the bodice and pin this on to see what it will look like. But this is looking so cute. I did catch a couple pieces of the fabric that I wouldn't have loved had it been turned the other way, but I think since this is going to be all gathered up at the top, I don't think you're really going to be able to notice once everything is gathered. So I'm going to set this aside. I do need to use my serger on the inside of where I just attached these two pieces, and then we will start working on the bodice. So just taking a little breather because I'm gonna be honest, I am getting wiped out on trying to figure out these sleeves for this dress. So let me show you guys kind of what we've done so far. Also, I need to get a tripod that's actually tall enough for me to be able to talk to you guys and not bend down. Here was the first prototype. I added a elastic casing and threaded the elastic through. Did not like how that looked, which is how the original dress is. So then I decided I was going to try to make a shirred sleeve, and I love this. I love that you have a little ruffle on the inside as well, and that you still get the ruffle on the out, but I need to make a sleeve that is a little less wide and a little longer. So thankfully, I actually have two long pieces left over from my fabric. I technically have over a yard left over, but I really didn't want to cut into that because I'm wanting to make something else with that. So I think this will be long enough and I will be able to use these pieces for the sleeves, and then we can at least get these pinned on, and then I'm probably gonna have to take a little break. I've been sewing for about 3 hours now, and while it has been lovely to have uninterrupted time sewing, my brain is going a little stir crazy. So going to take a breather after this, and then we'll come back and finish the dress tonight, and I'm so excited to have this to wear tomorrow. So I'm just gonna take some measurements and cut these out, and then we will get these all pinned on the bodice. Good news, mostly bad news. Good news is the dress fits me. Bad news is there's a couple of adjustments we need to make. I need to shorten the bodice by maybe like an inch, and I also need to shorten the skirt. So I'm gonna take out the gathering stitches on the top here and just shorten it from the top so I don't have to undo the bottom tier. And then I also need to add a split in the back of one of these pieces so I can add my zipper, because I completely forgot to do that. And I even told myself earlier that I needed to do that and I forgot. So I'm going to make those adjustments off camera. So the next time I talk to you guys will be the reveal. So it is now the next day because I had to refilm the outro of this video, but the dress is done and I love it so much. So let me tell you a little bit of a story on this dress. I cannot remember where I ended this video, but I'm pretty sure I was saying something about just finishing up the last few touches and then the dress was done. Well, joke was on me because I had to rework the bodice of this dress probably 5 times over. So I ended up switching the sleeves. My original idea was to do the shirring on the sides and have the ruffle come out on the edge of the sleeves, but I quickly realized that I did not take into account the weight of the dress. So when I wore the dress with the shirred sleeves, it was weighing it down so much that the dress hit me at a very unflattering angle and I did not like it. So I ended up taking out the sleeves, remaking the sleeves, and then I made them too short. So then I had to take the sleeves out again. And what I ended up doing was making the fabric a little bit longer, and I added an elastic casing instead, and that worked really well. The only thing is the sleeves are not as ruffly as I was hoping, but that's okay. I still really like them. They're ruffly enough that it looks cuter than just normal sleeves. So once I got the sleeves figured out, I thought it was smooth sailing. Well, it was not, because I needed to refit the top of the bodice. It was far too big, and I thought I had taken off enough fabric on the back panels to have it fit me well. It didn't. I ended up having to take out the entire back panels, put in new back panels, readjust the sizing, put in the zipper again, and now here we are with this dress. I am very thankful that I stuck through and finished it to fit properly, but it was definitely a labor of love there toward the end. But I love this fabric. I'm really happy with how this dress turned out. It's very comfortable to wear, which was my goal. I love the length of it. I adore the contrasting fabric stripes on the skirt. I am so happy that I ended up doing that. I think it just breaks up a pretty busy fabric on the skirt and just makes it so much cuter. So very happy with the dress overall. I really have no complaints other than the fact that I wish the sleeves were a little bit rufflier, but that's okay. I really like it still. So All of that being said, I think I am going to end the video here because I am actually getting ready to film the intro of the next video. Summertime, I always get really inspired to sew, and I'm very excited. It is a vintage Laura Ashley project, so if that is your thing, watch out for that next video. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in a comment down below. I always love reading them, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah.